and welcome to Nerdsplaining Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Da Silva. With me, as always, my co-host, Jose
Greetings,
Romero.
salutations, nerds around the world. We are back. Not a big week. Well, I guess for you it's a big week because you got some Daredevil. You got
It's a big week
Daredevil
for me.
dropping this
It's a
week.
big week
A
for me.
lot of talk everywhere about it, so it's our turn
Yeah.
to give our 2 cents, if you will, right? Very
Yeah.
exciting. We got some
Yeah.
Avengers news we want to dive into real quick. I just saw this right now.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of interesting. I guess I'm an alien guy. I think we both like aliens. Who doesn't like aliens? Oh, Christ. And it's just great, right?
Aliens is great. I actually have, look, I have an alien action figure right
There
here.
you go. Case in point, right?
And I'm reading Avengers vs. Aliens right now on Marvel.
There you go.
It's
So we
great.
all like
So,
the
yeah.
aliens. The last one was cool. Was it Romulus? It wasn't bad. We got the TV
Yeah,
show
Romulus
coming
was
out
fun.
in a couple of months, I think.
Yeah.
On FX, Fox, whatever. Very curious about a TV show about aliens. I don't know how that's going to work. But we'll see. Hopefully it.
Yeah. But I did hear it's from the guy who did Legion, and that guy's pretty solid.
It's interesting. That's a whole new direction. You know, you don't see this kind of franchise taking. But speaking of different direction, Bong Joon-ho, if I'm saying it right, probably not. He's just great director. Won for best director, best movie, Parasite, a couple years ago. He's Mickey 17
Parasite, yeah.
Snowpiercer was great. The host, really good. So I guess they're talking about upcoming projects and what's next or whatever the case. And I guess I don't know how it came up, but obviously they talk about franchises and about doing a franchise movie. And he said the only one he would like to do is Alien, but as a musical. You almost had me there. He almost had me. I was like, ooh, no, that's a. He got me. I was like, man, this guy doing Alien. Okay, bring it on, right? Musical? I don't know about all that.
No, I mean, clearly
I
that's a joke.
honestly think he was serious about that.
You can't.
That's a vision that he had. I read a little more into the article, but he had the vision or something. Okay, whatever. Now I hope he doesn't do it because I really don't want to see Alien as a musical. I'm sorry.
The only way I could see that work would be in the chest burster scene of the first Alien. It's got to be an a cappella kind of situation.
What is it?
Where they're both singing.
You know, the famous scene in the end, right? With the diner.
Yeah, very Spaceball-y. Absolutely.
Yeah, I caught that. I was like,
the name of the song is "What's Inside."
That is just, damn, I don't know, man. Well, it can be worse than Joker too.
This will actually be a musical.
And obviously a better director. But I found that's such a weird thing. I'm like, that's odd. I can never see Alien as a musical. No.
Listen, I couldn't see Beetlejuice as a musical, but we live in this world now.
It's not the movie?
Yes, it was.
Oh, the Broadway.
Broadway
Broadway's
musical.
a bit different though, in how it presents. So, if you're talking about like an alien musical as in a play, I guess I could buy that.
Even
I
then,
could buy it. I could watch it. It's just weird.
No.
But not as a film. That's just the direction. That's the last thing that franchise needs. It's on the come, right? It's coming up big with Romulus. Hopefully the series is good. We got another movie coming out, Aliens. And that was a franchise that, let's be honest, we talked about. That was dead in the water, right? In terms of quality and the expectations, set forth by the original films, and it's just been dog shit for a while. We're finding back to respectability, much like Predator, with Prey and all that.
Yeah. By the way, if he would have said, "I want to do Alien versus Predator," I'm like,
listen, you give him the keys to the Alien.
That's fine.
No Alien way. Give him the keys. I would have been okay with that. Totally okay with
that.
No,
but I'm saying, like, give it. Obviously, Aliens. Yeah, show me your take. But if you would have said Alien versus Predator, I was like, if there's anybody who could turn this franchise around,
of course, absolutely,
it'd be him.
I think we will see that eventually, right? And I think now that will probably taken more seriously by the studios because if Aliens is on the up,
right?
Predator's on the up. Okay, now you can take advantage of these franchises at a higher peak and let's make a good, solid effort, get a good, a legitimate director,
a real movie,
writer,
absolutely,
and something good with it. I would love to see that. Really would, because that last one was awful. was so bad. I was looking forward to that movie. It's just terrible. What?
Yeah,
You can't. It's hard to fuck that up. You fuck
I
Aliens
know.
vs Predator. Come on, guys. It's not that difficult. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on.
You know what? The problem was they refused to make it scary, and they refused to make it like R action. They kept it
They
PG
didn't make.
13 and
They
made
just
it
want to make it
bland. I was
good.
like, how do you?
you know.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was just one of those like God. I waited long for James Cameron was doing that movie. It would have been amazing. Um, but yeah,
Right.
that was a bad movie. God, and the second was even worse. Atrocity. Either way, but yeah. So yeah, that was a fun little tidbit that I saw. But let's get back to the two things here. We're gonna stick to speaking of franchise. We want to get back to respectability, and that's the MCU, right?
You're right.
And so there's a bunch of stuff that dropped for Doomsday. A lot of hype behind it. We got some artwork. I don't know if you saw the artwork that leaked. I mean,
Yeah.
unconfirmed that was legit or not. To be fair, right? Or
I
from
mean, the
Marvel,
guy
but
does
you know,
work for Marvel.
maybe it's true.
He's got a
Maybe
year,
it's not.
over
What
five
I
years
don't know. Maybe like
or
that was
5
his
years.
take. They didn't want to get his take, so he just put on the internet and said, "This is what I want to do."
Sure. Right. And also, people get confused.
Oh,
This is concept
exactly.
art. It's not storyboard.
Correct.
Storyboard is what they're gonna shoot.
Yeah, this is
Concept art is what
ideas.
the
Just throwing it out there. This will look like if you. So it doesn't mean anything. But also
right.
just shots. The Russo brothers talked about. And they asked a couple of things. One, like they talked about the length of each film. All this kind of weird because they haven't even started filming yet. But they said 2.5 hours for the first, 3 hours for the second one. No big deal. It's like the original,
Sort of
right?
like the original,
Yeah,
like yeah,
exactly.
Infinity
Makes
War
sense.
Endgame kind of had the
Talk
same.
about as
Yeah.
far as what direction they were going in, mentioning they were taking a radical approach to this movie. I'm not sure what that means as a radical approach. I could mean a hundred
I'm
things.
hoping it means a lot of deaths that
Who knows?
stick.
I mean, who knows? That could mean 100. Who knows, right? We'll know soon. But there is the big thing that dropped today was, I guess, this rumored. Let me emphasize that a rumored plot leak that's been going out there in terms of
Ooh.
what the film is going to be about and all that. I'm sorry,
Which one,
Doomsday. I'm sorry.
Endgame or Secret Wars?
Yeah, no, Endgame already came out,
Doomsday.
so we know what the plot is
Sorry.
for that. So we're good to it.
What? Who?
Spoiler.
No one told me that.
Tony Stark dies. Uh,
What?
so basically, I'm gonna read this little piece. So, Doom sets out to stop the incursion from happening, thereby avoiding a multiversal collapse. Like Thanos, he sees himself as the hero. I'm not sure if Thanos saw himself as a hero, but whatever. While the Council of Kangs has obviously been dropped from the movie originally, titled Avengers Kang Dynasty, is not as simple as Marvel Studios swapping Kang for Doctor Doom. However, it's very similar, same story. And the remaining worlds, basically, the heroes of these remaining multiverse worlds have to find a way to save their own universe, and how they go about doing that, even though it means the destruction of someone else's universe to save their own. So that's kind of the premise.
That essentially, yeah, that actually, not to Nerdsplain, but that literally is the storyline
Right,
leading up to Secret Wars
right.
called
So
Time Runs Out.
I'm not sure if what this leak is just assuming that that's what they're gonna do, or this is legit. Let's assume it's true. Let's assume it's true.
I mean, right, but it's also a story it is a printed storyline that precedes Secret Wars. So you're just taking Time Runs Out and redubbing it Doomsday. But the essential idea was in the comics, Doom and Strange find out there's a character called Molecule Man who's been in the Marvel universe like since the '60s, like old school Fantastic Four villain, and they find out that the Beyonders have been running reality experiments across multiverse, seeing how life changes in all the variants. The one thing that's the same in every multiverse is the Molecule Man, whose power is to change and affect molecules because they designed him as a detonation device for that reality. Like once the experiment's over, click, boom, the entire reality gets wiped out. Doctor Doom then goes ahead and creates this whole secret plan where he goes to the beginning of time to kickstart off the multiverse collapsing and slowly hoards every Molecule Man in every dimension that he's already killing off or is about to kill off. He takes the Molecule Man out, and then he hurdles this bomb of Molecule Men at the Beyonders and kills everybody. And when they release the power of which of just literally creation, Doctor Doom goes to Doctor Strange. Harness this, control it, make a reality. And Doctor Strange is like, this is too much for me. I can't do this. You can do it. You can handle it. And Doctor Doom was like, literally pushes Doctor Strange out of the way and just harnesses everything. And then he makes Battleworld. So that's Time Runs Out. So they be doing a version of that. I don't know if it's going to be exactly
Well,
to that
yeah.
level, but that's like, but it sounds like that's what they're doing. Like he's
Now,
trying to prevent the multiverse,
does
the
Doom
collapse of the
just
multiverse.
by hearing that it doesn't sound like he's the villain per se.
Well, he there was no multiversal collapse until he instigated it because he was mad that there was something outside of his control that was controlling him, which was the Beyonders. And he's like, Doom is controlled by no man. So fuck these guys. I'm gonna make everything fall apart just to outsmart them, and I'm gonna tell them stop. And if they refuse, I'm gonna wipe them out. So he's kind of it's the kind of thing of like that
Right,
preemptive attack.
like he's got good intentions. Is
There
that
was nothing.
kind of? It sounds like what's going on, right?
He's got good intentions and a psychopathic way to go about it because he was letting multiverses die, trillions upon quadrillions of lives murdered just so you could take that universe's molecule man out every time to hoard them in a basically a massive container of molecule men as like the ultimate nuclear deterrent to wipe out the Beyonders in case they refuse to listen to him.
Okay.
So he was doing villainous things for air quoting good reasons, but it was also very self-centered because it's like, no, me, I'm the only one who gets to do stuff like this. No one else.
So it
So
wasn't like because I'm trying to imagine what this movie if it goes that direction, right? There's no molecule man. They haven't set him up. I don't think he'd be in here.
right, but there's characters like Wanda that could
Well,
pivot
should
towards a
have to be
Molecule
alive
Man
again, I guess.
character. Well, you
Well,
talk
I mean,
about
I guess
multiverse.
where it's
There,
coming from, but
Molecule Men.
right, I guess
So
that's
a bunch of Wandas,
there's no Beyonders.
an armada of Wandas. Just think about that. An armada of Wandas just being hurled at the Beyonders or the TVA or whatever you want to call it. No, they're just the weapon. The villain is who's hurtling the armada of
So Doctor
Wandas.
Doom will use her to stop whatever.
Use the army of Wandas to he probably instigated, just like in the storyline, he instigated the collapse of the multiverse just to take control of the multiverse in the back end.
Okay, I guess I just want my only concern is that let's assume because it's Marvel, and, it's MCU, and they don't really do things the way they should sometimes. So they're taking this Doctor Doom character,
Right.
who is a badass villain. We can all agree on that, right? And
Right.
right,
Clearly, just on that
what if
storyline
he's
alone,
actually
badass.
really just trying to stop it, and things just go awry, right? And there's no other. I'm just saying if that's the route they go, which I could see that happening because it is Robert Downey Jr. He wants to play a villain.
Right.
Does he? We'll see. But if they go that route, my fear, not again, it's just a rumor story, is pretty much ruining the villain that is Doctor Doom. And now the villain is just the result of his actions, which were misguided. But is he a villain?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think it's. Once again, I don't think they could play him off as misguided. I think what they would do is the reveal is that when he discovered there was a multiverse, he didn't like the fact that all the multiverses were created at random. He believed there should be order, and because he believes he's the smartest person in the world, he should be the one that controls the order of the multiverse. And it's his ego, which is pride cometh the fall. It's his ego that makes him so he may sell the idea of like I'm just trying, but when you find out like no, you did all this on purpose.
Depends on how they go.
That's the reveal.
It's this could end up being he was a good guy
right,
at the
right.
end. Shit went wrong, and he just got drunk in power and whatever, right? And he's not villain until we get to Secret Wars,
right?
And then he dies. So we get him for one movie as
right.
the greatest villain ever, which he's not. One movie he dies, and moving on to the next guy. It just kind of downplays with Doctor Doom. We want to see Doctor Doom as a villain before. He should be another film. This is why they did this too fast. Doctor Doom should be in another movie, right?
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this. Like they had to pick the fast track. It is what it is.
I don't know if they're gonna make this work. Doom is supposed to be this is the next guy, right? And if he's gonna be here for 2 movies,
the only way they could fix it is the mess that the multiverse saga was all Doom in the background. That's the only way you can make it all work.
That intention from the get-go, right?
Yeah,
I hope
that's what they're gonna make it look. I believe
he wasn't doing that, and it ended up something. He got drunk at power or whatever. Something occurred. And he pivoted.
No, I'm gonna believe they're gonna reveal that he was behind every multiversal thing that's been happening as a way
I
to
would like to know that from the
destabilize the
beginning. That way we know
multiverse.
it's established.
And
He is who he is. Yeah. Because he's a
I don't want
he
to.
needs to be a villain in the
I can
beginning.
even take it. I need to know it. I need to know by Doomsday. I don't need to know by Secret Wars, but by Doomsday, I need to
No,
know
no,
this was all his
sure,
plan.
early on. Yeah, don't, you can't
If
reveal it
you
in Secret
reveal it,
Wars. It doesn't work. Reveal it early on. Agreed.
yeah, it's got to reveal
Agreed.
Doomsday, and I feel like you got to reveal it. You don't even have to reveal it at the beginning. You can reveal it like play him off as a villain, recontextualize him as a hero by the second act. Third act,
That's
you
fine,
find
but
out,
it's
oh no,
just
he
set
was a
up
villain the
as a
whole time.
villain initially, right? He's not some guy. He's a
Yeah,
scientist.
I
He
think so.
discovered it,
I think
and
so.
then he becomes Doom later. I don't
Right.
want to see that. He needs to be Doom from the onset. You know, I hope
Yeah,
so. I
I
hope so.
think he's
That's
going to
why
be
I'm afraid.
Doom
And
from
that's
the
why I
onset.
really feel a
Yeah.
movie before this would have really helped set this up.
Well, I mean, there's a rumor that he's going to still
But
pop up
maybe
in
but a
Fantastic Four.
small role.
So
I don't know if it's gonna be enough to set him up the way we want him. So we'll
sure.
see. I mean, this is a tricky thing they got going with this movie. They really do. It's gonna be hard to pull off.
Well, Jose, I know how they're going to fix it. At the end of Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom walks in the room and he goes, "Fine, I'll do it myself."
He's got a Thanos head, like like a
Done.
deer head, and they hunt him. He's in the background. We'll see. I guess it's interesting though. I don't know that really. I don't know if that story is really the radical approach that they had mentioned. To be honest with you, I think that's more status quo, right? You know.
No, I think it's going to be a lot of
I
deaths.
mean, I think it's a lot of deaths,
A
but
lot of
it's going to
deaths,
be
i.e., people's
multiverse deaths
contracts
that's
being
going to be
run out.
common as far as
No, I
like
think some legit
from the
deaths. Like I think it's going to be
whatever
some
the
legit
version of the
deaths.
Earth that MCU is on.
Yeah, yeah, because since it's got a soft reboot, you can then slot
Then
in
who
those people
dies?
with
Like,
new
who you
actors
killing
already. But those,
from the remaining? Because I mean,
well, I mean, listen, Star Lord's gonna die because Chris Pratt's getting really huge and he's already done his movies. This is gonna be his last go. So you get Star Lord out of the way. You can
well,
get
Vision's already.
Vision out of the way. You can get Wanda's
You want to get? Well, he's got a
White
show
Vision.
coming
It's
out, so I
White
don't think
Vision.
they're gonna kill
So,
him already.
uh,
I mean, just saying. I mean, a show is coming
okay.
out.
Well, you want to
Can
you
you
want to
with
get
Thor?
Cap out. You want to bring in a new Cap and a new Steve Rogers and a new Tony Stark. You want to bring them out. Maybe a new Hawkeye as well. I want get rid of Wong.
The only ones that would make a big difference would be like Doctor Strange and Thor. You know,
Get rid of the dude who played Hulk. Get rid of him. Like just like
I mean,
get rid of the
that's
old
what
guard
they should have
essentially,
done.
and as the actor, not the character, because you bring him in actors at the
You
end
can
of
get rid of the
sequels.
characters for a short period of time. You could always reboot this later, right? Like I always say, just focus on X-Men and deal with the rest later, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying. You can get rid of them. And you could even mention, here's the best part is that at the end of Secret Wars, you can reveal there's the Avengers, but it's like you do like handheld camera. So they're doing their thing, but you can't tell who the actor is. They're just moving around. So you could do that and like, oh, so the Avengers are here, but they're not the same actors because
I mean, I
their
guess it
costumes
really
are a
just
little
depends
different.
on,
So you already
how
know
they
like this
end
is the
Secret
new
Wars.
standard.
Really it all hinges on that. Like we still don't
Right.
know what the plans are and what's going on, and we know Shang-Chi 2's coming out, and that's kind of still part of the old regime. Yeah,
That's the only reason I mentioned like
Spider-Man. Yeah,
Shang-Chi
Spider-Man obviously got
should
another
still
movie
be
coming
there.
out. He ain't going
Yeah.
nowhere. We all know that.
Right.
So whatever. It's interesting. Again, we'll see. We'll get more information. It starts filming in a few, I think 1 or 2 months. So,
I think 1 month is supposed to be pushed back to April, so
we're
like
gonna
1
get
month.
something soon. Picture, stuff leaks. It always does. It happens. So we'll get to see something, and the speculation galore.
Just like already, we already
That's what I'm saying.
started getting leaks.
So it's already. I haven't started filming it. So that's gonna be interesting. But let's get to the main course here. This is what I know you've been itching to talk about. This Daredevil Born
Dude.
Again dropping 2 episodes, came with a lot of hype. And it's funny. This I didn't realize this took place in an Elseworld kind of situation, where the cell phones can't film in 4K, which is kind of strange. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The only phones that don't can. Okay, this takes place in the past. A minor gripe.
Oh, you have to understand. A
It's
lot of Tony Stark's technology has been seized by damage control, so a lot of that stuff is off market now. So you have to kind of. It's all Justin
I
Hammer
guess so. They
tech,
got
and
the
that's already
shittiest
bad.
phones in this world. Daredevil. Hell's Kitchen is not up to speed. They're doing like an iPhone 2 or something. I don't know. Very weird, very odd choice by the director. Just want to say it out. I know, but either way. So listen, I think I text you right, and I started watching. I think before you did, and I said the first 15 minutes were bad,
Yes.
and they were. They were really shitty, in a sense, not the story wise, but the way this was shot and filmed, it looked really, really bad. The CGI was
I,
terrible. I mean, it's
I,
inexcusable. Right, right. That's what I'm saying.
right, no, I agree with that.
It's really bad.
It's funny. There was so many reviews that said, "Oh, there's questionable CGI," and when I was watching, I was like, "Oh, this is the questionable
Yeah, it was bad
CGI."
CGI.
Okay, I
It
get
was
it.
really bad.
Yeah,
The it looked like almost using the volume. It just didn't look. It looked really. It seems like the scene that they shot the last second. Um, it was awkward, like almost like with Superman, the Josh Whedon version. That's what it looked like to me. The choreography was really bad. I went back and I slow played because I saw it initially. I went back. There was twice where they struck each other, and their fists was probably 5 feet apart. It was really badly done. It reminded me of Godfather when Sonny's beating up and like his sister's brother, and he punched the guy, totally missed him, but you hear the sound like the smack sound they used to do back in the 70s. It was that bad. It was really atrocious, and I think I saw it in Echo, so it doesn't surprise me. It was garbage. The way it was shot, it was a one shot. It really was. It was put pieced together as a one shot. Yeah, so that
right. You can
it
tell.
was
Yeah,
paying an homage, but it was a poorly done. The choreography was awful. The fight didn't look good. It was really bad, and I knew that it wasn't an indictment on the rest of the show. But that I was surprised that how
right.
badly it was produced, right? But beyond that, like I told you, it's gonna get better, and it did, right? I enjoyed both episodes. I didn't think it's great, not worth the hype. I know the director says it's gonna be a whole lot of action. We're waiting for it, and from a friend of mine who told me, keep waiting for it until you get to episode 5. So fair enough. He said episode, I guess, very bloody. With the once the muse is introduced, things kind of pick up on the show. The next episode, expect, it picks up in the end. He thought this was two people saw it. One guy thought it was the 4th best season Daredevil. The other guy thought it was the 3rd best season Daredevil.
Okay.
Although one guy did find season 2 better than season 3. I don't agree with that, but whatever.
I
The
don't agree with
opinions
that at
vary,
all
but
either.
whatever.
Right.
So he had it above 3. The other guy had it above 2. Fair enough. So, but it's fine. I liked it. I enjoyed it. There's some good scenes in there. A little slower than I thought. The whole Foggy thing, and why bring him back? It was kind of a waste of time, to be honest with you. If you're just gonna kill him off, just do a flashback or don't just mention it. It felt kind
Well,
of forced. Like, hey guys, we're in the same world. It was unnecessary. I like the idea
okay.
of it,
I'm letting.
but you're gonna bring him in just to kick him out. Yeah. Oh, they're gonna be in season 2. Whatever. Um, Flashbacks. I assume.
I'm letting. I'm
Yeah.
letting you get your piece out before I
Oh yeah.
nerd vomit
But
all
it
over
was
you.
fine. It was fine. Some good scenes in there. There's the great scene with with Fisk and this guy to get Daredevil in the end, like Heat. People keep comparing to Heat. Whatever. It's a cool scene. And it
Right.
was fine. It
Right.
was solid. Well done. Okay. Nothing to get excited about. Wasn't a great show. One great show. Go watch Severance. So if you call this great, you don't know what a great show is. It's just not an objective opinion. It's a solid effort. I hope it gets better after episode 5. Next one, they're excited to the 5th episode from what I hear. It gets really bloody and all that stuff. The promise that they kept telling you is going to appear at some point. But yeah, it was okay. It was good. Good effort. Solid. Nothing earth-shattering.
I will say, so now the distinguished competition's opinion. Yeah, look, the first 15 minutes took me a second to adjust to it. I don't think the choreography was as bad as you say, but the CGI of it all did look a little bit like this needed like 3 more
Yeah, like I said,
months
it felt
to
like a
kind
scene
of
they just
tighten it
they
up.
want to include at the last second. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get something. It was weird. It was weird.
Right. And
Yeah.
I get it, because remember, originally the idea was too that we're not going to see uh, uh, Matt Murdock as Daredevil until
Oh,
episode
right.
4.
With the suit.
So
Right.
so right, with the suit. So you seeing this, I was like, okay, this is
Yeah.
totally the touch up part that they did to slot in there. So I appreciated what they were doing. There were some
No, I like
cool
the idea
parts
of
of the
it. That
fight that
was
I
fun. It was
liked.
just the
It
execution.
wasn't
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I was saying, like, there's some parts that I liked. And I think something maybe, and I would recommend you trying to go back and watching it because I watched it too. There were some times where I was like, oh, he didn't hit him, but I was like, oh, that was a knife
Well,
throw.
not
So he's
those.
not actually a hit.
I
It's
distinguished though. Talking about when they were hand to hand, in the beginning when they first come to the bar or whatever, it was really bad. But yeah, but I know the other one. Yeah, the other one he
okay.
was throwing knives. But I
But I
wish they
will
would have
say,
really shown that better. You know what I'm saying?
and, it's funny you say that because I was just thinking about that when I was watching it, which is like the first three seasons of Daredevil. The fights are really up close, so you
Sure.
got you kind of used to seeing the impacts of everything. And this one was like their first like widescreen fight where they wanted to show you them fighting, but everything around them, and you sort of lost the
100%. Yeah.
visceralness of being up close. So like if this would have been still on Netflix season 4, you would
That's what I'm
see
saying.
each knife
Yeah,
like
and
hit him in
it's
the
something
chest, and
because
you're like, oh,
that's what this bullseye. That's his specialty, right? And it kind of got
right,
washed. It
right.
was weird. Like I said,
So
it was just a very poorly executed, a good idea. It just wasn't executed the way it probably could
good
have been,
idea.
right? Yeah. You know
I,
what I'm saying?
I I agree. I will say when they finally got to the part where Daredevil was chasing Bullseye up the stairs, that is more what I wanted the fight
Sure.
to be in that close quarters, and they're just hitting. I was like, this should have
Right.
been that whole
Correct.
part. Like even
Yeah.
going to the bar, it
Correct.
should have been like that. So you see what I'm saying? Like so because I was like, oh, you guys, and even when they got up to like here, you want to see good use of CGI when Bullseye makes it to the rooftop and Daredevil lands, perched, and then attacks. I was like, this is what how you should be using your CGI. I think you got a little
It was weird. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
overestimated your turnaround time, carried away with your idea, but when you did it smart,
Sure.
it works well. And so, but I think it's the learning pains of this
Yeah, that
thing. But
part's
like I
gonna
said,
get better.
bad idea.
I know the fights are gonna get better, and even the last
Right.
one in episode 2 is very short
Absolutely.
when he gets all mad. That was good. Yeah.
Right. But also
Yeah.
really solid. But so that'll be it. And as far as as a foggy thing, I feel it was the kind of thing where I actually did feel sad watching Foggy die. And from what I heard from the people that I know, Foggy was already going to be dead in the original version of the
Which
series,
is
but he
why
had
they
died off
added in,
camera.
right?
You
That's
didn't see
exactly what
it.
I'm talking about. Yeah.
So, you see what I mean? So they were already kind of like plot constrained because remember, they only redid 3 of the episodes. The other 3 were already done, and they had to move parts around because budgets. So they did what they could with the situation. Now, speaking of Foggy dying, let's just be very clear. 90% of Matt Murdock's supportive staff has died and come back to life. The only person who has never come back who died, ironically enough, is Karen Page.
But
Karen
she
Page
just
died in
don't
the
die.
comics
Period.
and is dead. Everyone else has been dying except Karen. I'm like, wow, you guys completely disregarding comics. Like Stick has died to come back, Foggy's died to come back, Elektra, but Bullseye, but no, Karen's the one that keeps living. All right,
She's not
cool.
even in the show for
let's do it.
Christ's sake.
Yeah,
It was kind of
I
weird.
know.
If you're gonna bring
Like,
her back,
sure,
bring her back.
whatever.
Like make
Okay.
her. I don't know. It was just kind of. It was just clumsily handled. I think that's the best word. It was clumsy, right? Yeah.
But once again, I feel like it's I
Deal.
guess I'm more compassionate because I know that this team was kind of working with stuff that was already there. So it's kind of like when you have those like those cooking competitions, but you only have a certain number of ingredients, so you got to figure like make do with it.
I
That's
think
what
we're
I was
better
like.
off if they would
So
have given us a full episode with them, maybe, to really build up. Because I think
sure,
I don't
I
think
agree.
I'm sure a
I
lot of
agree.
people who haven't seen the original, and I know people who haven't seen the original who started watching this one. And you don't have to see the original really, but you're not gonna get that impact. Those first 30, you're not right. So I think there was
Absolutely.
an episode, build it up,
No.
and then maybe whack up. But whatever. Like I said, the whole thing was just handled weird. It was just like clumsy.
Yeah.
It doesn't kill the show
But
like that. It was just kind of weird.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. We literally saw that certain deaths can be reversed because, spoiler alert, Daredevil throws Bullseye off the ledge of the building.
I don't know how I feel about that.
No part of me was like,
I like they threw him off,
it.
but then he still lives. I'm like, okay, I gotta.
No, because remember, he had his spine and parts of his bones fused with that metal at the end of season 3.
I remember? That, so that's fair. Honestly, I don't remember. Yeah.
Okay, so that's in the comics. When Bullseye's back gets broken in the comics, it's by Daredevil. In the series, it's by Kingpin. The doctor who created the adamantium bonding process to Wolverine did that to Bullseye because the hand made him. So they did a version of
Okay,
that at the end
yeah,
of season
I didn't
three.
get it.
So I was like, oh,
I didn't get
the
to rewatch it.
bones took the
Okay, well
impact,
that's
and
fair.
that's
It
why
was
he.
something that was kind of weird. Like
Yeah,
maybe it's not high. I get. I listen. I like. It didn't bother me. I
I
was
mean,
like, okay, I buy it.
listen,
I'll let it go. Fine, fine.
and also here's the thing. Here's the thing. Remember, Daredevil knows how to throw people off buildings to get them to
Apparently.
live a little.
No, I remember that in
No,
the second one.
remember
Yeah,
in
yeah.
episode 2 of season
When he
1,
met
he tosses
what's her
that
face?
dude in the
Yeah.
dumpster. So I thought he do it like if he dies, he dies,
Well,
but you're getting
I'll ask you
pushed,
this
and
because
he
I
just
found
did
this.
that.
I didn't bring it, so someone brought it up. I'm like, I guess that makes sense. I just don't remember. It's been so long. It's been 8 years since I've seen this stuff. Um, but Bullseye, he tried to kill Vanessa, didn't he? In part, am I wrong with that?
He tried to kill the Kingpin and Vanessa
So
at
what?
the
Okay,
end of
so
season 3
now
at their
he
wedding.
comes up. Well, he comes back, tries to kill Foggy, but doesn't go back and try to kill Vanessa again. It was kind of weird.
No, because remember, he didn't go after the Kingpin. He went after Matt because
But he did try to kill
remember,
Vanessa though,
Matt Murdock,
right?
but only as a
That's what
way
I'm
to
saying.
get back
But why
Kingpin
wouldn't he follow? Why wouldn't he
because the
follow up
Kingpin
with that?
manipulated him.
So it was kind of weird. Um,
No, because he blames Daredevil for getting in the way of getting him a chance to kill Kingpin. And remember, even though Dex got his back, or Bullseye got his back broken by the Kingpin, in that final fight between Kingpin and Daredevil, Matt takes off his mask and makes Kingpin look
fair
at
enough.
him.
Like I said, I hadn't seen, it's been a while, so
All right, so
I don't, yeah.
look, do yourself a favor. Watch the last
Okay.
episode of season 3. Just watch that
No,
one, and you're gonna
very
be
well,
like,
exactly. Like I said, it
okay,
wasn't
I
my.
can
It's just
kind of
someone
see.
just brought it up. I'm like, I sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So to me, all that it all tracked because also they acknowledged the fact that it's been like 5 years
Oh, it's been a
since
while. Yeah.
season 3.
Yeah.
Clearly, like they have the law firm with Karen's name on it. Like they've been doing this for. So there's probably a bunch of other
No,
fights that we don't know
very
about,
true.
and
Yeah.
I'm sure that's why Bullseye and him
Very true.
have
Very true. No doubt.
intensified even more.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So once again, all that I was like, no problem. So I was less harsh on the overall of it all, and I was kind of taking the idea of it.
Yeah,
So
it's
the
fun.
idea of it was fun. Like some of the stuff in the bar when like Bullseye grabs the pool cue and bops it off the table and
That was
crocks
funny.
that girl in the face and she dies. Like you gotta remember, in the courtroom they admit he killed on top
Yeah.
of Foggy 10 other people while he has 11 life sentences. That means 11 other people died in that whole skirmish. Like
But
wow,
you know
it's
he's gonna
bananas.
escape. What up? Of
So,
course he is. Of course he is. Yeah.
oh yeah, I know totally.
Well, no,
Sure,
but
comic
what I
books.
did hear
Let's
he's supposed
do
to
it.
be, he's like,
But
he's out and about. So at some point, so yeah, in this season,
eventually,
so
yeah.
yeah, how
Right. But that's what I'm saying. So, like for me, I actually enjoyed that. What took me a second to get used to, actually took me the half of of episode 1,
okay,
maybe the end of episode 1, to get used to how big
okay,
everything looked. In the sense of like you're seeing a lot more world, and everyone was a lot more
okay,
comfortable in this world. I'm used to. I literally was just showing someone the first 3 seasons, and everything is very much like I'm still learning, I'm adapting, I'm figuring things out, and the stakes are getting bigger, but we're all figuring out. Now they're in a world of like
okay.
we know this, and now things are getting more dangerous. But this world has now grown as big because of these dangers and because of our experience. So that perspective change is the best way to put it. Took me a second to get used to it, but I ended episode 1 not feeling like I liked it, but I was a little unsure of like, do I not
I
like
don't know about
Daredevil
all
anymore?
that.
Like, because it's such a
But
good series.
but
And
before we
then,
get to that episode,
but that,
at the ending was really good. That conversation at the end was really good. I like that dynamic between both of them. With King. That was cool. That was cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
I liked it too. But I was uncertain. I was like, am I feeling this way just because it's a different
True.
overall
Maybe.
visual take, or is there
Okay.
something keeping me away from it? And then I watched episode 2, and I was like, oh no, I dig it. I
Okay.
get now that I know what to expect. Everything flowed so much easier that I was like, oh, that was just a style shift that I was adjusting to. And now that I'm used to what their visual style is, episode 2 felt so much more fun. Leading up to that big fight at the end with the cops in the
That
house,
was a cool
I
scene.
was like,
Yeah.
that's. And but I will say, I don't know if those cops are alive.
I mean, well, good question. I mean, he
He
slammed him
slammed.
down.
Like, first of all, one cop was
Well,
never going to use his right arm ever again. That thing
I don't think he
became
killed him because I
jelly.
don't think he's about. I think he did it the one time because of Foggy, and that you get that right. I don't
I think
know. I don't know.
I think he
No, no, no.
paralyzed
Listen, no
one of
doubt
those cops because
he
he made
effed
him
him
land
up.
on
There's
his
no
neck
doubt
near
about
the
that.
crack.
I don't think he went as far to kill him. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe,
No,
maybe.
okay, maybe he didn't
Oh
kill,
no, no.
but that dude is never gonna
Oh no.
play
He's
rec basketball
no,
ever
he's
again.
fucked up.
Like
There's no
that is.
question that. Yeah, but I don't think I don't think he went that far. I mean, I don't. Maybe. Yeah.
I hope so too. But I was like at the same time, I was like, man, to be that angry and that precise, that
Well,
is why
it's
you're
cool 'cause
Daredevil.
that's
That is
one
why
thing I
you
really
are
liked
not
about
me.
that stood out to me was that aspect because you got Fisk and you got they're both trying to be different or whatever, right? But he suppressed that. It's
Right?
gonna
Yeah.
come out even with Fisk because I don't know if Fisk had good intentions from the beginning. Maybe he did, but then at a certain point he reverts back to his old ways. Like he blackmailed the cop. And he's like, I don't know, right?
I always say
Which is
like
cool.
Kingpin reminds me a lot of Doctor Doom in a way, which is they're both guys who will mentally gymnastic the justifications of why they're being bad for good reasons. But at the end of the day, you got to be a little bad to be okay with making all these things. So I think it's is that like
Yeah.
how much you got to logic yourself to go. Actually, I am the good guy. No, you're not.
She's really like going into legit from the get. I don't know. Like I'm not sure yet. Yeah.
I never know. He's never
I
going.
mean, but he could have been trying, and then it's like they're gonna retire. He knows he needed them to stick around, so he just let me go back to my way. Like
dude,
Matt Murdock, you're eventually gonna be Daredevil because what choice does he have? Which is cool though.
Dude, if you put healthy vegetables inside a shit sandwich,
No,
you're still eating a shit sandwich. There's just healthy vegetables now. So his good deeds are like the vegetables in the shit sandwich that is him. That's what I'm saying. So to me, I'm like, you could pretty up any way you want. You're still a piece of shit. And so and nothing says it more, like you're saying, about trying to be good but be different. The way Fisk flips the commissioner, the New York commissioner. I was like, that is straight up old school Kingpin. Like, oh, you love this? This is the thing that you're embarrassed about? Oh, look what I have.
And play the classics.
Yeah, man.
That's what we want to hear.
And now, and I gotta tell you,
it's cool.
That was great. James Gandolfini's son, Michael Gandolfini, playing a great. Like, if that dude does not scream Staten Island or Long Island, New Yorker, that is. Sure if you wonder, what kind of New Yorker is that? It is Staten Island.
I know a couple guys that I saw says he gets really annoying down the road. So I get it. So I'm not sure about him yet. I don't know if I like that guy as a character. I don't know. It's too soon. Yeah.
I like that guy only because he's like the most realist everyday character that I know. You walk in New York, or if you know certain types of douchebags,
that guy.
That's it. He is that guy. He is that guy all the time, and I know people like that. And that's why I'm like, oh, I love this character because you're not dangerous, but you are. You're like an enabler to horrible people, and people who enable horrible people are just as bad as the horrible people they are. So you're a horrible person to enable. Yeah.
I gotta. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
But overall, I will say, I would give both. If you have to do like an A, B, or like a 1 out of 10 situation, you're right. I don't think it's the greatest series ever.
By the end of it, I don't know.
That's possible. Still
possible.
But right now, it's good. I give them both like an 8.5. I give them both like a B.
B plus. I'm
okay
with that.
That's where I'm at.
Because I think part of
it. B plus.
A lot of hype. People was hyping this show up. I'm like, and I don't think it was
a lot of hype.
It's not bad, and I didn't hate. Of course not. It was good. Enjoyed it, but it's not the hype that I don't think matched what we got. Maybe it will.
Right.
Maybe it gets great, or maybe this ends bad. With Marvel, you don't know what you're gonna get, right? But like I said, both guys told me that. But in the end, it still doesn't reach great heights, but it gets a little bit better, and it's really and it ends well, all that. So it's just it's overall, it just wasn't like amazed or whatever, right?
Listen, if we get to A minus, I'm happy.
I'm totally okay with that. No.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the great. I just want really good. Give me A minus. I'm great. B plus.
B plus. I'm like, okay, that was fine. We like the show. We know what the show. We've seen the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I always want more.
Right? So we want to at least.
Yeah.
Right.
Season 1 and season 3, A plus
territory. It doesn't have to be better than that, of course not. But at least if it's close to, because my complaint initially, which is what it was headed, well, it was going to be something different from that. It was not going to be as good. It's going to be watching a terrible fourth season of a show, right? That was my fear. And like they changed gears,
Right.
so maybe we're going to get a good season 4, right? Just not the best of the seasons, and that's okay, and that's fine.
Right.
But it's good. I'm looking forward to it. I got a feeling when I do a team up between Kingpin, not team up, working together. I got a feeling the Muse is going to be the one they're going to be teaming or whatever, corroborating against Kingpin and Matt Murdock, right? I got they're
Absolutely.
Gonna be forced to say because he
Absolutely.
doesn't want vigilantes, and of course Matt Murdock doesn't want the bad guys. So I think it's going to make sense at some point. Of course,
Can I make a prediction?
please.
Can I make a prediction? Kingpin is going to kill Muse and then frame
I could see
Daredevil.
that. I could definitely see that. The only wild card here, I'm trying to figure out how he fits in because he's gonna fit in. Is Bullseye. I don't know. Maybe they get Bullseye. Oh, Kingpin gets him out to kill Muse. I don't know. Maybe.
I think Bullseye is. When we talked about, you were like, why didn't Bullseye go after Vanessa? Because Vanessa's now running the crime organization. Bullseye goes after Vanessa.
He's gonna go on his own thing. Okay, fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's gonna go to his own thing. And so when the final battle happens, I almost feel a way where Bullseye maybe teams up with Muse, and then when Daredevil and Kingpin team up to go after Bullseye and the Muse, it's just Muse. Where's Vanessa? Vanessa gets murdered. By Bullseye.
The question is, would they finish the therapy before that? That's what I want to know.
Oh, you know what? You know what? Vanessa has a breakthrough
right before the breakthrough.
And so
I really love you again.
And so right before. Yeah.
But I get it. It's still effective.
I mean, listen, is it tropey? Absolutely. But comics are soap operas. So if you play it right, people are gonna be like, oh, I've seen it before, but
do you think?
absolutely.
Do you think? I don't think he did, but Kingpin knew they were going out now, right? He just that Kingpin the therapist was going out with Matt Murdock. I don't think he did. He didn't, right?
Okay. Oh no, not that.
That'd be kind of cool.
That is unaware.
That
is going to be a.
Like, oh, that'd be funny. Yeah.
Right. I mean, that would be awesome. And in the course of these next 7 episodes,
I mean, he could find out. I'm just from the onset. I think it's just a coincidence because she's big time.
Because remember, it wasn't Kingpin that picked her out. It was his worker.
Whatever. I don't know. It would be cool if he knew, but I don't think he did. Just to kind of
right.
Poke the bear, if you will, right? Seeing a therapist, maybe they get them all, get them all in there, man. Get Muse. Have one big group therapy session.
I don't think he knew because he could not. Kingpin's the kind of guy who would never allow his girlfriend's enemy to know his weak spot.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Right. If it was just him by himself, I'd be like maybe. But because it's marriage counseling,
and like, oh damn, that's a little wrench in there. It's like, oh,
yeah,
man,
absolutely. I think he's gonna find out. Absolutely.
She can't talk about what she says, but she can mention Can they mention? Of course, they can mention that they're treating somebody, right? That.
She can eventually. Oh, look, she may not mention, but she takes phone calls, right?
Maybe.
And Matt can hear both lines, both people.
Unbeknownst to her. 'Cause I know she can't talk about what she's doing, but can. I don't remember.
Right, she's on the phone talking to her client.
I don't know what the rules are with that. I don't know.
Right, that because it was the first session.
Well, that's true.
So she doesn't even know
that's gonna get introduced, which is cool. I like that. That's a good setup for we're gonna get some cool drama on that. So I like that. Yeah.
And that's what gets me excited about the series is like there's a lot of good setup.
How they finish,
and
we'll see. Whatever.
Right.
Hopefully, I'm fingers crossed because so far so good. And I was let down because I really wanted. And that's because the hype build and it is what it is. So those first reactions sometimes overdo it, and it's like, and it puts you here. And it's like,
if anything, that just goes to show how desperate Marvel fans, like these people get the first looks, are so desperate for it to do good that you get like a BB plus, and you're like, this is the greatest thing ever. Like,
exactly.
We all want the best. But we gotta make it. This is good.
Not overset.
Not great, right. But like really good.
It backfires at their point, and that's not Marvel's fault. And that's not that's Marvel's
absolutely.
Fault. People might say that, and maybe it's true. I doubt it, but I know the first reactions. It's people are afraid to say something bad because then it won't get the privilege of seeing the next whatever comes out first. So You know,
Right.
that's why I don't trust
But
them all
I
the time.
will say, comparing this project to like Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and Brave New World, there was an enthusiasm to what people were experiencing for Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. There was sort of like a realization of what Brave New World had to offer, and there was a genuine relief on the first two seasons of Daredevil, first two episodes of Daredevil. And I think that's, but you could tell the tone of like, hey, they did the best they could. Wow, this is better than expected. Like, oh my God, this didn't suck. And so
Newsflash.
it's all,
Of course, you
we
want it
all
to work.
want it to work. Yeah. And so like, and I think if you're more honest with it, like you're our, I think one of the reasons people like us is because we may fanboy about our certain things here and there, but the other person kind of pulls the one in check. And I'm sure you
No,
thought I'd be like, this is the
I
greatest
didn't
thing ever. I love
think you were gonna say it.
it.
Honestly, I think you were gonna be level-headed with this one. I really did. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I,
Which you were.
I
Yeah,
was,
for sure.
and I watched it. I watched
I'm
each
sure you
episode
wanted
twice
to
to
keep
really
talking
take it
about
in.
like
Like, okay,
beyond words, but of course,
yeah,
yeah.
I wanted to, but I was like, also, let's be realistic. Like, if I start saying everything is awesome when it's not,
Right, exactly. Yeah,
then
that's
you're
fine.
not
Yeah,
going to
then
believe me when I say it.
expectation is set.
And the last thing I need from you is you making fun of me. Like, oh, of course,
Here
Eric
we go,
loves
Eric
it. Like, no, I was
again.
like, I gotta be.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go. Like relax with your comments. So I was like, oh, I
No,
gotta figure this
but
out.
people need to
So
be have the right expectations. Nothing has to be the worst thing or the best thing in the world. It's okay to be in the middle sometimes. It's fine.
right,
Or lean more towards one side, but
absolutely.
we are, and you get that a lot with people. Like if you say it's not great, they just say, "Oh, it sucks," and that's not what we're saying, right? Or if it's great, then
Yeah,
it's
and listen, we need to go back to living in a world of
yes,
levels
yes.
and context. We can't be the greatest thing or failures.
The,
There are
we
literally
can live in the gray,
degrees
and it's
to this.
okay.
Like,
It's not even great,
and
but
I don't say the gray.
it's
You can live it. I say the gray. You're like, oh, but like the gray is just bland. I don't think gray. You can live it. There is a world
of course,
for B pluses. There's a world for
absolutely.
C minuses, and then you know when you say there's a D, you're like this thing sucked, but it had a kernel of something awesome. Like you can acknowledge all these
Yeah,
things and not
yeah.
be the
It's
greatest thing
not like
ever. The worst. It just is
this
what it
isn't
is.
Dark Knight and Madam Web. There's movies in between,
Right? Yeah.
and it's okay.
There's absolutely. I, I try to tell people you got to. We have to go back to reviewing art, and I mean art. I mean anything, music, TV, movies. We got to go back to reviewing art like we treat people who are going through a body transformation journey. Every good thing should be awarded, and every step back should be considered within
Yeah,
the context of what happened.
100%. Like, cause you see a lot, and you see a lot of channels who throw a lot of love overly, and a lot of channels that throw overly hate. They're just designed for that. They want the clicks and they get it, and it's like
Yeah,
this. It's not the right way to go, man. It's there's a lot of middle. It's okay. You're right. A B plus is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Just it's solid.
a B
It's worth
plus is.
watching. Check it out. Of course, watch
Some
it. Check
people
it out.
kill
It's
for a B
entertaining for
plus. You know
sure.
what I mean? So
It's
yeah,
not an A. It's not. It's okay. Not every show is fucking Breaking Bad. It's
yeah,
not, and that's fine. It really is. It's totally fine. It's rare to get,
absolutely.
which it makes those shows even better because it's hard to be great. It really is. It really is.
Right. I'd rather you start at a good place and
Right.
build than be awesome off the jump because then you're such behind the eight ball, always having to be gets used. Like if your worst shot is a B minus,
Of course, that's
dude,
totally
you're
fine.
killing it.
And even Daredevil, this could end up being great. Penguin's a great example where it was good early on. I didn't think it was the greatest thing we've ever seen, but it
Yeah,
got better and better. It did build
right.
up, and man, it ended up really great. Um, of course,
And then they
yeah,
stuck the landing. You're like,
really, really
wow,
good.
this was a
Come
great
on,
series. That's
exactly.
all you need.
Yeah,
Consistency and good. That's it, man. If you do a bunch of B plus episodes
you're
and you
good.
stick the
Yeah,
landing,
you're
you're
good. Yeah, we're
technically an A
totally
show.
happy and satisfied. Which is the landing part we know is not always the best of Marvel. That's my concern. Or Star Wars or whatever Disney.
No,
Example.
I know, which is why.
But
But listen, I will say,
no,
Friendly
that was
Neighborhood
good.
Spider-Man stuck the
It was
landing.
good.
So let's do
Definitely
it,
good stuff.
cartoons. Stick it.
I gotta think this way.
Yeah,
I really do. From what I hear, like I said, man,
I
it
have a good
reached
feeling about this.
top tier, but it's gonna be okay. We're gonna get that B plus A minus. I think we are. I really do. Yeah, I really am.
I'm
And
I'm
there's
I'm
gonna be some great
totally
scenes. Like,
okay
oh
with it.
man, she was
I'm
awesome
totally
for
okay with it.
sure. And oh man, we're gonna get all that stuff. It's just gonna,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, because we're seeing great performances, in spite of everything else. There are really solid performances in both episodes. So, like, just keep giving us that. Keep giving us solid episodes,
Yeah.
solid performances, interesting ideas and plot lines that don't have to get paid off right away, and
Yeah, like
then
I said,
we'll
it's all
stick
about
through the whole
sticking the
series.
landing, making it cohesive, making it make sense. So, but so far so good. I'm happy to say I'm enjoying the show. I really am. I was concerned a year ago. Okay, we're back on track
I
here.
know.
That's great. Hopefully, it ends great. If it ends bad, that would suck. Would suck. I haven't heard that it's going to, so I'm not concerned. I really am not concerned about
I heard the last episode is a musical.
that. Well, now we're talking. You had me at musical. This just may be a great show. Uh,
Ironically, the last song is "Do You
uh,
See What I See," which is really weird.
now we're cooking. That said, those are the nuggets for the week.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate all the love and support you give us. Don't forget to always like and subscribe here on the Latin Nerd Network here on YouTube. You can watch shows such as Nerdsplaining, Watch This, Thanos the Choice, so much more. Let us know what you thought about Daredevil. Let us know what you thought about the concept art that came out from the artist that screwed up that was working at Doomsday. Let us know. We want to see what do you hope they keep, what they don't keep. We want to hear all your hot takes about everything. Don't forget to follow us on the social medias at Nerdsplaining _ on at Twitter X, at Nerdsplaining Pod on Instagram. I know it has not been updated for a minute. I'm going to be posting a bunch of the images, so keep a track of that as well. Don't forget to go to DangerousSquad.com. We are going to having some printing updates very soon for all the people that donated to Kickstarter. Don't forget, if you go to the website, you can also buy digital copies of the book. It's not the same as the Kickstarter because they paid extra, so they get awesome stuff on it. But you can still get the digital copy as well. Really appreciate all the love and support you're giving us for that as well. And go to ericdasilva.com, EricDasilva. You're buying my album, Adorably Offensive. It is a great gift for people who like comedy or people who you want to hurt their feelings. Like, oh, they get easily sad. Let's give it to them. Oh, and by the way, if you're in Orlando, I'm doing Don't Tell, and I can't tell you any more than that. But I'll be performing it. Don't Tell Orlando, and you'll never know unless you're subscribed to their mailing list. You can get it. So go subscribe to that. And I'll be there, Orlando, this Friday, March 7th. So yeah, do that. And that's the show, guys. Once again, I've been Eric Da Silva. This has been Jose Romero. We have been Nerdsplaining. And if you don't know,